Hello and welcome to a new video, and look where I am. I'm in the cab. Well, I'm in the back cab, so I'm spare today. So I've been given a Northfields duty, or part of a Northfields duty, which means I'm heading down to Northfields to pick up, which means I'm going to sit in the back and I'm going to take you with me as long as the camera lasts. I'm using the DJI camera. I've not used it in the cab before, so we'll see how it is. So yeah, it's going to be a backwards video between Cockfosters and Northfields. So we're currently on platform 1 at Cockfosters, heading, well, this train's going to Northfields and I'll be jumping off at Northfields as well. So whilst we're waiting to go, so today's duty, I pick up at Northfields at 18:39, so 20 to 7. Go T4, Cockfosters, get off the train, we'll call it 20 to 9. I'll have a break and then we'll see what goes from there. But like I said, it gives me a good excuse to film this video for you from the rear. I appreciate it's not quite as good as from the front, but as I've said in the previous one, we will make do with what we've got. No one can really complain. I'm not in charge of the train, I'm not distracting the driver because I'm in the rear, and I'm not showing anything that's secret, so yeah, we should get no complaints. So we should be due out any moment. I don't know how this camera will cope with the dark tunnels, but we'll soon see. I do have the air conditioning on in the background to keep me cool and hopefully keep the camera cool from not overheating. So even though the plan is to take the camera to film all the way down to Northfields, if it overheats then, well, it'll be as far as it goes. So it is quite warm in the UK at the moment, although London's a little bit cooler. Has been spitting with rain, so we'll see what it's like. Although I'm not driving, so I suppose not my problem. And we're about to go. So as we depart, you'll see that there's a 10-mile-an-hour speed limit as well, which was added recently. I think I've shown it on videos before. Just there. So there's not a huge amount to see, not much has changed since I did my forward videos from the front of the cab, I should say, about 8-9 months ago. They started to build a new fence for the extension to the depot, which you'll see on the left hand side in a moment. Probably just see it there on the left. And then I suppose at some point they'll be adding tracks and things in there. So we're going down into Oakwood. It is a slight downhill slope into Oakwood. Maximum 45 miles an hour, although most drivers are not going to do that. Generally on 30 mile an hour, give or take. A little bit less if it's wet. You've got 3 signals before the platform, which we can't see. We'll see the back of them, there's one. There's 2, yeah, and there should be one more, I think. And then, no, that's a repeater. There's another one. Oh no, it is that one, sorry. And then you can see the entrance on the left hand side there towards the depot at Oakwood. And we can reverse off this platform into the depot. Just take that road off to the left as you see as it slopes round. And we'd take that shunt signal if we was to go into the depot. You get the shunt signal, which is that yellow circle with a red line, and that would sort of move. So this is Oakwood. Usually get regulated here for about a minute or so, although we're not today. Yesterday there was a speed restriction between here and Southgate of 25 miles an hour. The track's a little bit rough, so I'm assuming it's still there today. Oh dear. I'm sure there's a 25 mile, yeah, driver's braking for the 25 mile an hour limit. If you look between the forefoot, which is between the running rails, I don't know whether you'll see it, you'll see a yellow box. Just there, and then just after it is the 25 speed limit. Yeah, this section's quite rough. I think with the hot weather and things, it's oh dearie me. It's not buckled to the extent that you can't run, but you wouldn't really be able to run 45 mile an hour down there. Well, you could, but no one's going to stay in their seats very long, and you do run the risk of derailing. To be fair, it's not much better after that either. So we're going to come down into Southgate. So we're going to enter the tunnel in a moment. Now the problem is I can't turn the interior light off in here. Well, it wouldn't let me the other day. Let me see if it'll let me do it today. No. Yeah, I can't turn the cab light off, so I apologise for the reflection and the flickering of the lights. It's just the frequency that the station lights run on there. So this is Southgate anyway. So just to give you an idea, today is a Wednesday. And it's currently just gone 5:15 in the evening. So we're going to pop out the tunnel in a minute. It's a bit of a reasonably long section, this bit, down to Arnos Grove. So speed limit on this part is the maximum for the line of 45 miles an hour. And it does drop down to 25 miles an hour in a moment, which the front of the train is probably at already. There's two signals on the bridge that are always red. It doesn't mean the others are not, but they're always red. So Arnos Grove is what's known as a controlled area, so there's lots of moves that can happen. So the idea of these signals is basically to slow you down. Yeah, because there's lots that can take place at Arnos Grove. So there's certain places on the line where I'm not saying you can relax and let your guard down, but if you imagine sections of the line are like driving on the motorway, you've still got to keep your wits about you, but you know, it's relatively relaxed. And then there's other sections like this, which is like probably driving in the centre of town in rush hour. It's the best way I can explain it, really. You just need to just be that little bit more careful. So there on the right that we've just passed, that was the first red signal. Next one's coming up, and then I think there's 3 more before the platform. And there's an eastbound train to Cockfosters. There's the other signal there on the right. So it looks like we're going to be held at a red signal, which means if we do have to stop at it, there's a train in the platform ahead. They're not a terrible amount, I can really tell you. If you see that red and white checkered board on the right hand side that we've just passed, well, it's sort of white, that's for limited clearance. In other words, if you stand there and a train comes past, there's every chance it'll hit you. And they're in places where you can get limited clearance. And they're generally around bridges and things like that, or other structures. So we're coming down into Arnos Grove. And there's the point there on the left that would take you into the middle platform. So we can only go into the middle platform coming on the west, which is the way we're going. We couldn't use the middle platform. Well, actually, we can use the middle platform to go up to Cockfosters, but we'd take the track on the left-hand side. We couldn't then go up on the right. That kind of makes sense. Makes sense to me, anyway. So, Arnos Grove. It's a regulation point, and regulation point means that the signal system generally will hold you to your book departure time, or the signaller can hold you if they want you to hold. But not today. So we're going to be heading into the tunnel, or the pipe. It takes about 40 to 45 minutes to do the main pipe, the main tunnel, with 20 stations in it. So the next one being Bounds Green. You're getting plenty of choo-choo action at the moment. That'll soon change. So downhill into the tunnel and into the dark. And there we are. So I appreciate in the tunnel section, especially with the reflection of the cab lights, there's not a huge amount that you'll be able to see, but at least once we get into the platforms and things, you'll be able to see the platforms. Just seeing if the light switch would actually work, but it won't. So Bounds Green. So I said this is a Wednesday, so when this video comes out will be the following Saturday, and that weekend we will have engineering works, so there'll be no trains between Cockfosters and Wood Green. So I might do, I think Saturday I've got nothing to do, I think I'm spare. If I've checked properly, I'll check nearer the time. Sunday, again, if I've checked properly, I do have a driving duty, but it's not much on it, so I might film that for you, which means rail replacement buses, but we'll see how that goes. So this was Bounds Green. There's a Rayners Lane train 2 minutes behind us. There might be some places where you may actually be able to see the headlights of the train behind. So next stop is Wood Green. Wood Green has a sidings. If you've seen my videos before, you know that. Also has a toilet area and a place to make or to get some water. I wouldn't drink the water from there, but Piccadilly Line we call it west towards Heathrow, east towards Cockfosters. Just makes life easier for trying. So if you've got an issue and you call up, you can describe where you are, even though technically you might be going northwest and all this other sort of stuff. I know I've had people ask me why we call it that before. It just makes life easy, east and west. Others will be north and south, some others will be east to west on other lines. So there is a speed limit of 35 miles an hour. And then that ends, and then there's a speed limit of 40 miles an hour. Other than that, it's maximum of 45. Although you wouldn't come into the station at 45, because there's every chance you wouldn't stop. And it'd be rather rough going over the points. So there's the sidings on your left hand side, you just see the light there. And there's a shunt signal on the left just inside the tunnel, so we can actually change ends and go into the sidings from this way, but we would have to come back onto this platform. We can't go onto the east. So sorry about those flickering lights, it's just the frequency the lights run at are just a bit different to the camera. It's the first time I've used this one, I think, on the train. Was Wood Green. Next one, Turnpike Lane. Anyone like a mint? I'll be honest, I often forget to offer you mints, so I apologise. Just coming into Turnpike Lane. So we've got a bit of a run between Turnpike Lane and Manor House. Maximum 45 miles an hour. Tiles need a good wash. So whilst we're on this stretch, I hope you're all keeping well. On the last video we discussed mental health issues, and a few people have commented about their struggles with it, so wish them all the best and hope things improve for them. And the same as last video, I will, if you need help, if you want to speak to the Samaritans, I will put the phone number below and link their website into the description. So this will come out on the Saturday, so I've got 1 week at work and then I'm on leave for a week and I'm doing something really exciting. Stupid but exciting, so stick around for that. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell notification so you don't miss that. My channel members, they will already be aware of what I'm doing. hopefully be fun. But I'm not going to tell you more than that. Also, if you want any branded Dale Charman Travels merchandise, head over to my website dalecharman.com or click on the link in the description below. At the moment I can only ship to mainland UK, Northern Ireland, purely because of the cost of sending stuff abroad. So for argument's sake, one of my mugs to post in the UK is about £3.50. To post it to like Germany, it costs about £8. If I wanted to send it to America, it's about £20. I'm hoping that once I've sent out a few parcels, I can leverage a bit of a discount with maybe one of the carriers. But at the minute, I only send out a couple of weeks, so I'm not in a position to be able to try and ask for any discounts with them to try and make it affordable. But I'll keep looking at that, and then hopefully we'll be able to ship abroad at some point. But of course I'll let you know if and when that changes. But yeah, we've got coming up, actually they're not on the website yet. I've got water bottles, I've got like thermal mugs similar to like a thermos flask. I've got a travel blanket as well with my logo on. They've all got my logo on. There's pillowcases, there's mugs, there's car air fresheners, loads of little bits in there, and a few bits that are not brand related. So yeah, check that out. Anyway, Manor House, which means the next stop after this is Finsbury Park. And I wonder if we can catch a Victoria Line train, as we never managed to do it before. So it's a relatively short distance between these two stations. Generally speaking, I think the average on this line is about 3 minutes per station. Some slightly more, some slightly less, but that's about the average, I believe. About 3 minutes a station. Get asked if I'm looking forward to the new 24 stop trains and if I'm excited. The answer is not really. I mean, I'd like to have a go on another train because I've only ever driven these ones, but if I'm honest, I think they're going to be more looks over substance. If you look at the more modern trains compared to what we have in the Piccadilly and Bakerloo, you know, Central Line trains, I think they're about 20 years newer. Northern Line trains are about the same, and they're falling to pieces. I just don't think they make trains to last like these do. Personally, I'd be happy to carry on driving these. So yeah, I wouldn't say I'm excited about them, but it'll be nice to have a go in them. But I think they're just going to be more hassle because everything's electronic. Just my opinion, before I get shouted at. Anyway, Finsbury Park. Change here for the Victoria Line. And this is another regulation point as well. So just after we leave the station, there is an opening to the right hand side as you look at the screen, which the Vic Line runs on. So you might, if there's a train in the platform, you might be able to see it, which there's not. So I doubt we're going to cross one. No. Oh, you also changed there for National Rail, so Great Northern services upstairs. Yeah, you can just see the platform, but no train on it, I'm afraid. We're coming down into Arsenal. what I'll do once we get into sort of central London, I don't know, Covent Garden or something like that, I'll put in a replacement battery and hopefully that'll be enough then that it doesn't overheat, hopefully. This is Arsenal or Gillespie Road, but we're sat in the tunnel, as in you and I, because we're at the back. So what will happen with the new trains, a few people have asked, is if they don't fit on the platforms, either the front or the back will be like we are here in the tunnel, and basically a set of doors or two sets of doors or whatever you just won't open. They do that on the Northern Line, they do it on the District Line and several other lines as well. For those of you that have asked whether they're going to extend these platforms, the answer is no. Coming down into Holloway Road. And I need a drink of water. Bear with me a moment. Should have filled up both of my water bottles, but anyway, never mind. So, Holloway Road. Speed limit on this section 45 maximum. Although you're not going to get up to 45 in this section. And again, we're sat in the tunnel. So that little red thing you can see in the distance, that's a stop board. And we're off. Next stop after Holloway Road is Caledonian Road. Just before Caledonian Road there is a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit. So that little light you just saw on the left hand side, that's the start of the 30-mile-an-hour speed limit. And we're at Caledonian Road. A Piccadilly Line service to Northfields. Sounded like he was having problems with his doors. Oh well, they're closed now anyway. Next stop is King's Cross St Pancras. So this was Caledonian Road. Between here and King's Cross, as I'm sure you know, is York Road disused station. I don't think you'll get any better view from this side as you do from the front. But just before York Road disused station is a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit. That ends just after York Road, then it's downhill towards King's Cross, and then there's a 35-mile-an-hour limit just before the platform. So after York Road, the track goes down. It's basically downhill to King's Cross. see York Road. I sort of doubt it, mind you. York Road's here on the left. Yeah, you can't see any of it. I've just had a thought. If it works, I've got a torch with me. Doesn't really help, does it? Let's just tilt you down a little bit. It's not really any better for you, is it? No. Oh. Well, it was worth a thought. So King's Cross, St Pancras. Ooh. Yeah, it doesn't. I was just seeing if it helped. Yeah, not really do much for you, does it? Oh well, never mind. So King's Cross, St Pancras. Next stop is Russell Square. You'll see in a moment on the left hand side there's some points to go over to the eastbound, which I have filmed before. They're just there, you probably might have just seen them. There's a speed limit, 30 mile an hour I think it is. Yeah, so you probably just saw that light, that was for the speed limit. It is downhill into Russell Square. As I've discussed in my old videos, Russell Square and Holborn can catch drivers out because it's downhill and it's on a bit of a bend. If you're not experienced enough, it's quite easy to overshoot the platform. Russell Square. And just put you back to where you was. Ooh. That's better. Russell Square, never take the steps here. I did about 15 years ago when I had to go on a course here, and I'm still out of breath now from it. So next stop, Holborn. Again, you don't want to come down here too fast. It's downhill, the platform's on a bend, and as daft as it sounds, if you can't see your stopping mark when you come in, it's easy to miscalculate your speed, thus overshooting the platform. So we call it a fast platform, even though most drivers come in at about 25 miles an hour-ish. It just feels fast. So Holborn change here for Central Line. Can be a busy station, this one, because of the interchange for Central Line. I think Central Line is the busiest line on the network. Certainly the longest, and I think we're the second longest. Maybe I'll, later in the year, I'll do a video on some information about the different lines, passenger numbers, track length, etc. for those that are interested, but it's a thing for another day. So yeah, Holborn. The Rayners Lane train is 1 minute behind now. Just trying to find the perfect angle for you. So Covent Garden is next. 20 mile an hour speed limit. It's a bit twisty. And in a minute you'll see a gap on the left hand side for the eastbound Piccadilly Line. Just there, you can just see the green signal for the eastbound, and a train if it's coming out on the picture. Can't see it from here, but anyway. Covent Garden. I did a little video here actually, which I haven't put up yet. It's all edited and everything, just showing the station where I take the steps instead of the lift. I must get that published. I'll do it sometime after this. It's only to give you an idea, because if you've watched my videos, you know I've always said don't use this station, use Leicester Square. But I wasn't completely stupid. I took the stairs down and not going up. Good evening people, how are we all? Having a lovely day, I hope. Thank you for travelling with us. Leicester Square. Shortest distance between two stations on London Underground in the whole network. In terms of track level, I believe some people have said there are some stations above ground that are closer, but in terms of track level, these are the closest. So Leicester Square change here for Northern Line via Charing Cross branch. I have to think with some of these, I can never remember. Yeah, so this one is Northern Line, Leicester Square. Next one is Piccadilly Circus. Change for the Bakerloo. What I will do when we get to Green Park is I will change the battery over when we get into the platform. So if there's a bit of a glitch where it's missing a little bit of footage, it's just I didn't manage to change the battery quick enough before the train departed. I mean, there's plenty of battery left, it just gets a bit too hot. So I'll do it. Yeah, this is Pick Circus anyway. Getting sidetracked. But I'm not driving, so it doesn't really matter. So Green Park you change for the Jubilee Line and Victoria Line. And I think it's the closest station if you want to visit Buckingham Palace. So as soon as we stop, I'll change this battery over and hopefully have it back up and running before we depart. That's it. Right. So this is Green Park. Yeah, that battery's really hot. Almost as hot as me. So on the left hand side in a minute will be Down Street sidings and Down Street disused station. Again, you probably won't be able to see anything. It'll be on your left hand side. Down into Hyde Park Corner, downhill, 25 mph speed limit before the platform. And there's a set of points as well, so we can reverse here, change ends and go back east. Or if we're on the eastbound, we could detrain on the platform, go into the tunnel, change ends and come out onto the westbound. And you'll see the points in a second, hopefully on the left. I don't think we passed them yet, have we? No, they're just there. You might just see it. It's a Hyde Park Corner. This time of year can be quite busy, the nice weather, and there's lots of concerts at weekends and things in the park. And this is, where are we? Middle of August, near enough. So it won't be long before we have Winter Wonderland here. Starts November usually, so it won't be that long really. And then Christmas. Sorry to ruin it for you all. Anyway, Knightsbridge is next. 25 mph speed limit just before Knightsbridge. Knightsbridge is for Harrods mainly. I think the Selfridge is down here, or is that on Oxford Street? No, I think that's Oxford Street. Ignore me, but definitely Harrods anyway. It's amazing how hot you can get just sitting here. So after Knightsbridge, you've got Brompton Road disused station, then you've got the South Ken bends into South Kensington. So you know, a few weeks back I did a video about the delay to the 24 stock. Now lots of rumours was the reason it was delayed is because they don't fit in the tunnel. Well, I can confirm that they have run at least as far as Hyde Park Corner, so they fit around South Ken Bends anyway. So if they fit around South Ken Bends, they should fit around the rest of the line without any issues. Because I think they're the tightest sections. So we've got a 15-mile-an-hour limit. It's a temporary speed limit for South Ken Bends, and it's been there about 4 years I think now. Otherwise it's normally 20, but because of the wheel screeching they've reduced it to 15. Not that it helps, on some of the trains it's still awful. So Brompton Road is just on the left hand side. Again, you can't see it because it's dark, but it's just here on the left. I'm not sure if Brompton Road is still owned by a Ukrainian billionaire. I know it was at one point. South Ken Bends. I know you've all missed me saying that. South Kensington, change at South Kensington for District and Circle Line. I think you can get the Circle Line from here. I always get confused. I know you can get District Line, but I'm pretty sure Circle Line as well. I'll check when I'm on the platform. So South Kensington, next stop is Gloucester Road. 25-mile-an-hour speed limit before Gloucester Road. In fact, there's a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit from here, but before that ends, the train won't get up to 30 anyway. Let's have a look. Does it tell me? Yeah, Circle and District Line, so I was right. For once. Yeah, so 25-mile-an-hour limit on the bend just before Gloucester Road, and it goes round to the left and then slight round to the right into the platform. So we've only got 2 stations left within the tunnel, and then we'll be outside in the sunshine. So we're at Gloucester Road. So lots of people have been asking me to do a Q&A. So what I'm actually going to do is, not on this video, either this week or next week, I'll record just a little video asking for people to submit their questions onto that video on its own. And then what I can do is I can answer questions as I go along over the next few weeks, and then compile them all together to make a video. That's my plan, so look out for that. Gloucester Road, sorry, change for District and Circle Line here as well. change at Earls Court for the district line. I think on the very first video I did on the front of a train I said you can also get circle line. I'm just looking at a map that's on the train here and it's not actually clear. I think everyone at the time said I was wrong and it was only district. Because on the map I've got on the train it actually looks like you can get the circle. So we'll double check. Because even though I go through here every day, it's one of those things you don't really take too much notice of because the train does all the automatic announcements, so you don't really think about it. I'm sure they are correct though, because yeah, I'm sure these people use it much more than I do. So Earls Court, once we leave the platform it goes uphill, 30 mile an hour speed limit, dropping down to 25 and then out into the sunshine. So it is just a district line then, yeah. I don't know if you could see in the background, I can see the headlights of the train behind. mile an hour and then out into the sun. And then we run alongside the district line. So as we come outside, the track on our left will be the eastbound Piccadilly Line, and then there'll be a track to the far left and the far right, which is your east and westbound district line, or the local line as it's known. So the district line goes on the left up that hill and on the right comes down the hill. There you go, coming into Barons Court. And there's a district line train on the right hand side, Piccadilly on the left, and there's another district on the other side of the Piccadilly line. Next stop is Hammersmith. The other Pick train is just behind us. That was the Rainers Lane train. Don't know whether you'll see it. District train is on the far right hand side. Oh. You've got the sidings here at Hammersmith. Oh, and I'm dropping my pen. Want that. Just putting my stuff away so I'm ready to get out. Hammersmith. Let me see if you can see the, see if I can zoom in a bit, bear me a second. Still getting used to using this camera. See if you can see them monitors. No, I don't think so, not very well anyway. Right, we're about to leave. There we go, put you back. So, non-stop now to Hammersmith, to Acton Town. On the right hand side is the local, we're on the westbound fast, track on the left is the eastbound fast, and the track just the other side of that bridge is the eastbound local. We used to be able to run on the locals, but they took the points out. We're just about to go through Ravenscourt Park. We can stop here in both directions. In fact, I stopped on the eastbound 2 or 3 weeks ago. And open the doors. So yeah, Ravenscourt Park. Generally speaking though, we only stop here if something's gone wrong. Stamford Brook is next. Stamford Brook, as far as the Piccadilly Line goes, we can only stop in the direction we're travelling in. On the eastbound fast doesn't go by the platform, which you'll see what I mean as we pass. So that's Stamford Brook. Next station is Turnham Green. We only stop there after 10:30 in the evening, and I know I've discussed it many a time, some point in the morning, but I never work mornings, so I can never remember the time. Up till 6:30, 6:45 or something. 7:30 on, anyway. Certain times of the day, let's put it that way. This is Turnham Green. On the district line on the far right hand side, they split off down to Richmond as well. Next station we sort of passed through is Chiswick Park. We can't stop at Chiswick Park in either direction. Looks a bit gloomy, but it's actually warm today. It was about 33 when I left home. I think it dropped down to about 26 when I got to London. That's Celsius. This is Chiswick Park. Coming down into Acton Town. A bit like Harness Grove, there's a lot going on in this area. So you're likely to see red signals. You can also get routed into the local here, or fast. This train's going to Northfields, so I'm guessing he's reversing via the sidings, which means we'll be going, or should be going, into the fast. Because if this train went into the local, it would have to go into Northfields depot. Doesn't mean it's not doing, but usually speaking we go via the sidings. And once we pass Whiskey Lima 25, which is a signal just before Acton Town that tells you whether you're going into the fast or the local line. If we're going into the fast, it's a 20 mile an hour speed limit. If we was to go into the local, it would be 15. You you've got the sidings here on the left hand side. There's 3 roads there for us to stable on. So that signal we've just passed is Whiskey Lima 25. So yeah, we're going in for fast, as I expected. 20 mile an hour limit. Starts a bit further back, but I'm usually doing it from a bit further up there just because it gets a bit rough otherwise. Acton Town. So we can change ends here, take that shunt signal on the right hand side at the bottom of the platform and into the sidings. Regulation point, this one as well, so you tend to be held here a little bit. I'm guessing we're a little bit early. And we've just been held at a red signal. But at least you get some train action there, look. And once that train clears, if you look into the far distance, you might see the Rayners Lane train right behind us. I didn't quite catch what's going on. There's something going on. Yeah, the driver made an announcement about station staff coming down to assist, but I don't know what they're assisting with, whether there's an ill passenger or something like that, or someone just causing trouble. I don't really know. I'll try and find out when I speak to the driver and let you know. I'll find out now. Hello, mate. Well, if no one tells you, what can you do? Oh. Yeah, I couldn't tell you. Yeah. Yeah, why not? Yeah, I see station staff are somewhere down there. I've seen the orange. Yeah, reasonable. Alright, mate, appreciate it. Let me know. Alright, cheers, mate. So what it was is that was the driver. And you can see the Rayners Lane train coming in on the right hand side. It turns out there's a wheelchair passenger on. There seems to have been some mix-up. They wasn't taken off where they were supposed to have been taken off. As drivers, we're not always told, so station staff are just getting them off now. I don't know any more details than that, other than for whatever reason they wasn't met and taken off where they should have been. But hopefully they'll get them sorted. Like I say, as drivers, we're not always told where people are getting on and off, because a lot of stations, wheelchair passengers can get themselves on and off. Anyway, that was Acton Town. South Ealing is next. There's the Rayners Lane train on the right hand side, you may be able to see, and that'll go up the hill and then basically over the bridge that we're going to go under in a moment. A run down towards South Ealing. You can get held at red signals or slowed down at red signals on your approach to South Ealing, even if there's no train in front. Again, it's one of those stations in the direction we're travelling. It is slightly downhill. In the wet, you've got to be, again, a bit careful, because if you leave braking too late, you're going to struggle to stop. So you can see we've got 4 tracks here. We can use the local lines both ways. We use the westbound local, so that's the one on the right hand side, quite regular. Personally, for the duties I do, the eastbound local, don't use that often. Maybe a couple of times a month. I'm sure there's other duties that use it more, but in terms of the ones I generally end up doing. Right, South Ealing. And then Northfields. So this train's going into the sidings. I was tempted to go into the sidings with the train just to show you it. Problem is, there's only about 5 or 6 minutes from the time this train comes out the sidings to when I have to pick my train up. It's a bit too close. All it takes is them to hold this train for a minute or two before letting it out, and I miss my train and delay it. So we will finish it on the platform. I just want to say I hope you've enjoyed this little video. I appreciate in the tunnel section there's not much you can see, but as I said before, you know, we make do with what we can do, so at least you get a little bit of train action, as it were. So Northfields is next. It's not far from here. I will say now, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment. Not sure whether I'll be able to, how often I'll be able to do ones from the rear of the cab. Probably not very often. It's just been lucky that I've been able to do a couple in the last sort of 6 weeks or so. So this is Northfields. So I'm going to switch you off and I'm going to go and help detrain. So thanks again for watching. Take care.